And of course we know that he was so intimate that the deity would personally give orders to Madhavendra Puri and send him different places and engage in his service. Kirchur Gopinath. The name Kirchur came, of course, when Gopinath stole some kir for Madhavendra Puri. It's all very wonderful pastimes. These are also should reinforce everyone what is the position of the deity. It says Guru Naramati and the Vigraha, the Shilasu. And if we think that the Murti is made of stone, or that the Guru is an ordinary human being, then it says we are residents of hell. That deity is Krishna, and the deity reciprocates with his devotee. I remember Srila Prabhupada, one time he entered into the temple, and he asked the Pujari, after darshan, that how are the deities? And the Pujari, how are the deities feeling today? And the Pujari looked a little bewildered. He said, you do not know? Pujari must know how the deity is feeling. That Pujari should be so sincere that the deity will reveal his mind. Since the Pujari is revealing his mind to the deity will reveal his mind to the Pujari. Just like when Sanatana Goswami was worshipping his deity, he said, why don't you give me a little salt in the bread? Because he was just making the wheat balls and throwing them in the charcoal as they were. It's a very kind of austere type of, cannonballs. So, deity was saying that if I could just have a little salt, I know that you're very poor, butter is very difficult to come by, but a little salt. Sanatana Goswami said, if I start giving salt, the next thing it'll be butter, then you'll want a vegetable, then I'll have to get a job. There's no end to it. So you should just excuse, otherwise it'll end up that I won't be able to perform the other services. I have to write, I have to serve my Guru's order, I have to excavate these holy places, so many things. If I have to go out and get salt and everything, then it'll be very difficult. So of course then eventually Lord Krishna sent one salt merchant with a whole shipload of salt. So Sanatana Goswami could at least put a little salt in his bread. And of course the salt merchant was stuck, and by Sanatana Goswami's blessing he was able to be freed, and he built one big temple for Madana Mohana. So deity is, of course, for a non-believer, for a unfaithful person, they may not be able to understand that Krishna is there present. But actually is present. It's not an idol. When the missionaries went to India, their whole intention was to crush the Hindu Dharma. Great scholars like Max Muller and others, their intention was to translate the Vedic literatures into English in such a way that people would become completely contaminated by a crisis of faith in their own culture. They would translate Murti as idol. And then when you look in the English dictionary, idol, it would say an imaginary form made up by pagans for worshipping, so on and so forth. So by the words that they would use in translating the Vedic text, they were trying to break up the basic faith in Vedic culture. So, of course, there are many instances. We know how in Orissa, one deity walked all the way from Vrindavan to Sakhi Gopal. The city itself is now named Sakhi Gopal. Walked all the way to Orissa, nearly 1,000 miles, or maybe even more than 1,000 miles, just for his devotee. And there are so many instances. So we should understand that Krishna, Rukmini, Dwarkadish, Guru, Gauranga, Nitai, Gaur, Jagannath, Subhadra, Balaram, they're actually present. If we are not able to see that, we're not able to understand their intention, that is our misfortune. We should lament that, you see. Generally in material life we lament when our husband or wife speak harsh words to us. We lament when we're not getting some nice situation for our eating, sleeping, and so on. And these things we lament. But actual devotional service, we also lament that we are not very advanced in our Krishna consciousness, that we're not able to please the deity, please our spiritual master. But that lamentation that anxiety is actually blissful because it is a real consideration. It is based on love. Actually, every devotee should become so advanced that by the mercy of his spiritual master, the deity will be kind enough to bless that devotee fully, even give personal advice. It is nothing unexpected. Can easily happen. It's the Lord is independent. He can do what He wants. But of course, it's nothing that we can imitate. Nothing we can force. We simply have to serve, washing the floor, doing our service, and serving the deity. And when the deity is pleased, then He can begin to advise. Don't fan me in that way, a little bit to the left. Today the sweet rice had salt in it, but it was made with great devotion.